My wife confessed 4 weeks after giving birth that she cheated on me 3 months into our marriage. So, my wife confessed to cheating on me and I don't know what to do. She confessed to me that roughly 2 to 3 months after we got married, she cheated on me with one of her exes. She says it was only hand stuff, but how can I believe that? She tells me this just 4 weeks after giving birth to our first child and I'm torn. On top of that, the timeline has me concerned if this kid is even mine. I've ordered a paternity test without her knowing. It comes in tomorrow, but I'm truly scared. I currently want to try and work on things only for our child. If we didn't have him, I would end it right away. I am severely depressed from this and hate myself because I still love her but equally hate her at the same time. I keep trying to mask my depression and act like I'm okay. But I'm not. I've done everything for this woman. I've pushed myself in my career to make enough for her dream to be a stay-at-home mom. We're planning on relocating across the country to be closer to some of her family. I've bought her a car. I never buy myself anything and give her anything she wants/asks for, and this is how she repays me. Does anyone who's been through something like this have any thoughts/opinions? I'm slowly starting to consider a divorce, but the court will likely give her majority custody because she's his mom. But she currently has no job and will have to live with her parents, which just overall wouldn't be best for our kid. My thought is he would be best with both of us in the house, even if it means I have to suffer for 18 years until he can move out on his own thoughts. Edit. It's only been a few minutes, but thank you to everyone who has posted their thoughts and opinions. It helps me more than you know. I haven't been able to talk to anyone about this and have been feeling so alone. A little more information. I'm only 25. She's 24. I know I have a long life ahead to recover from this. It's just so hard to see that far. I want to be happy, I just don't see how no matter what option I choose. She also has threatened to unalive herself if I were to leave her, which scares me to death in so many different ways. Story number 2. I, 29M, cheated on the love of my life, 30F, thinking that our future was going nowhere and I regret it. We've been together for over a year now, and when we met I had just recently gotten out of a 6-year toxic relationship and wasn't ready to date. We had taken a break because I told her I wasn't ready. Long story short, while we were on that break, I showed up to her front door drunk at 2 a.m. asking for her to be back in my life, and ever since we've been together. We've taken vacations together and have grown so close, spending almost all of our time together, and our lives were almost intertwined. Things have been rocky lately. Our entire relationship seemed perfect, but midway through things started changing between us. She has been struggling to find her spark and has no clear idea what path she wants to take in life, including us being together. Regardless, I've supported her and my love never changed from her uncertainty because I saw a future with her, but we just had to get there. When it came to jobs, I've sent her job postings for things she said she wants to do but then doesn't act on it. I've offered to help make a budget with her because she's trying to pay debt off. Nope. Nothing I do to try and support her she accepts. I've given her books to read. Never reads them. She's flown to see my family multiple times, including for a funeral, and my family loves her and accepted her immediately. Her family had a wedding this past weekend that we've been invited to for months, and we've been looking forward to it. It would have been the first time I'd meet her family, which was a big deal for me. Doesn't communicate and rarely have sex, which were all normal things before. The week before the wedding, while we were in bed talking, we decided I shouldn't go to the wedding because I told her I don't know how I'm supposed to be excited to meet her family if she doesn't even know what she wants for her future. Immediately I shut down and thought that this was over once she didn't argue back and tell me that she wanted me to come, and just agreed and said I shouldn't and maybe it would be good. This is where it happens. While she was at the wedding, I was at home miserable in my room and wanted to do anything to get my mind off it. I went out with a friend to a club, this isn't an issue, and met with other friends. Well, at a point in the night I got left with one of the friends and she was asking me about my girlfriend. She knew I was supposed to be at the wedding, so I told her how sad I was that I wasn't there, and she started telling me about a guy she was having problems with. After that, it's a literal blur to me, but we kissed. Immediately after it set in what I've done, my heart dropped and couldn't believe what I did. I called my girlfriend afterwards while she was driving home from the wedding and broke up with her. I felt so bad for what I did that I needed to end things. I hate people that cheat, as I've been cheated on before. But that night I just looked for an escape from the lack of love and affection I was getting, with the idea in my head that we weren't going to be together anymore because she didn't know what she wants and could hardly show any love to me. I fucking love my GF, I saw her in person the next day to talk, and when she came over she started talking about how she is going to be working on herself and also told me she bought me a plant and wrote something. I stopped her right away and told her what I did, and I sobbed to her that it did not mean anything and I was sad/vulnerable and made the worst mistake of my life. I've begged for her forgiveness through taking accountability the last 2 days. I'm done begging and allowing her to have the space she needs because of the horrible thing I did. But now, instead her being able to work on her depression, she has been heartbroken from my actions on top of it and lost all trust. I have physical pain in my body for what I did. I wanted to spend my life with her. I love her, and I'm working on myself to become a better person and hopefully get her back broken heart. Story 3. My teenage self cheating on high school sweetheart. My relationship with this girl began freshman year of high school. She was a few years older, beautiful, and more shy but caught my eye. We would chat every day since we sat together and eventually began dating after being in a few elective classes. Our first few years dating, we had a smooth, loving relationship and had a long honeymoon phase. This relationship dipped into COVID, and despite being forced apart, we made it work. After COVID ended, I was anxious to get back to friends and sports. She, on the other hand, was now graduated and in college. Her family had some issues and she felt very depressed. I, on the other hand, was in my junior year and was ecstatic to be with friends partying and living up my last high school years. While still dating and chatting a good bit every day, my perception of us changed and I had fancied the idea of others and expressed this to her. She was in a hole and couldn't fathom the thought of one of her comforts in life leaving. I made my claim of us being so different I wasn't sure if it was going to work. She begged to differ and wanted it to work. We decided to make it work as a part of me still loved her and who she was despite liking the idea of testing the waters with other women. Because of my social circle with good-looking women and lots of booze/weed, it made the idea of trying something different very tempting. Especially because prior to me even dating her, I had an issue with porn/kinkiness. I never could physically bring myself to cheating on her, but I did love watching porn on the days in which I needed to release but couldn't see her. One night, as I was watching, my mind ventured to live cams since the porn wasn't cutting it. I began flirting with this woman on cam, in which we then exchanged social media to sext. After orgasming, I then blocked her as I didn't want anything else and viewed my little online affair as the equivalent to interactive porn. I then felt immensely guilty and felt the need to confess to her about this. As I came clean, she was devastated. She was in a low spot and couldn't take on any more emotional burden, such as a breakup. Our relationship had been going fairly well too, so she wanted to work through it, as did I, since I did feel a strong connection to her and didn't want a life without her. Fast forward a year and now I am graduated and we are still dating. After looking back and chatting with her, we both feel as if that time period with her family issues and my cheating changed her a lot. We still want to date and stay together despite our differences. We click well and bond over lots of little things and enjoy each other's company/affection. I now, another year later, 2 to 3 years since cheating, have a heavy heart for her and feel ashamed of my distractions in the past/cheating. I am now afraid that the past would affect our future and her perception of me greatly, despite me being fairly young and stupid in those years. She doesn't bring up the time I cheated, but it still taunts me that I could be such a scumbag and cheat online. What I did was not ever worth the pain of guilt in my relationship now and the changed perspective of me in her eyes. While we laugh and love now a few years after the fact, I can feel that there is a bit of resentment from her despite her wanting to work through it. We express our love a lot and still have great sex, but that past is still daunting in the shadows of us. I have no idea if it's something a couple can overcome given the right circumstances and determination, or if it will linger in the back of our minds and hold back the full feeling of connection and love.